Well, good morning, man. It's May the 12th, and I made it home. I sincerely appreciate all the prayers. It was a rough time in Portland, but I made it home, and I'm so glad to be with y'all here. It is May the 12th, and so we turn to the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, for God's daily dose of wisdom. And as I was reading through Proverbs chapter 12, it was actually verse 1 that jumped right off the page. And it reads like this: Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. Well, couldn't be more blunt, couldn't be more plain. What's he talking about? Well, that word discipline, whoever loves discipline, in the English, it's the same root word for discipline is the same root that we get our word disciple. And I love being a disciple. I don't love so much the discipline that comes with that. But in Hebrew, that word discipline actually means instruction. It means reproof, it means correction, it means instruction. But it's the process of instruction. It's not a one-time thing. It's the whole process of being molded and shaped by the God who loves us that this word is talking to. This word is speaking to. Now, I think one of the reasons I chafe so much against this idea of discipline is because when I think of discipline, the thing that comes to mind more often than not is punishment. There's kind of an equation. There's kind of a correlation between punishment and discipline, because I think of the way that we use discipline in our culture. But in fact, well, and that comes up a bit because of our history. And if you had a parent like mine, my dad was very capricious in his discipline. He was very unstructured in his discipline. He did not apply discipline in a loving way, in an instructive way. It was always about punishment. And so discipline had a negative connotation to it. But that's not the idea of discipline in the Bible. There is actually a spectrum of discipline in the Bible that we need to understand. God uses discipline, he uses instruction, and he uses a spectrum of discipline in order to shape us, in order to change our hearts. And in fact, the lowest or the easiest form of discipline is expressed in Psalms 32, verses 8 and 9, where he says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way which you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. It's that eye upon us. Now, in this particular case, in the context here, he is talking about how he instructs us, and he's very involved. His eye is upon us, and he's very involved in that instruction. And that examples a very loving father who is involved with his children, and he is molding them and shaping them. Now in verse 9, he goes on, in Psalms 32, verse 9, he says, Do not be as the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, whose trappings include bit and bridle to hold them in check, otherwise they will not come near to you. Now a bit or a bridle in the mouth of a horse is used in order to turn the horse. And what it does is it places pressure in the mouth of the horse, and it actually can cause pain in order to cause the horse's head to turn in that direction and change its course. And what God is saying here is, I don't want to cause you pain. Don't be like that. Don't be like the horse or the mule that requires pain in order to be able to change your course, in order to change your trajectory. No, I will counsel you with my eye upon you. In other words, we know our Father so well that all he needs to do is to give us a look. Now, you guys, if you got good moms, you know what I'm talking about when you get the look. right? When your kids are misbehaving, all it takes is the look from mom and things settle down. Well, that's the lowest end of discipline in that scale of discipline. And the bridle and the bit is the other end of the scale. What he's saying is, I want you to be so responsive. I want you to trust me so much and trust my love for you so much that it won't take much for me to be able to change your direction, to change your trajectory, to teach you the kinds of things that I need to teach you, to shape your heart, and to mold your heart in a way that's going to be responsive to me. And that takes a level of submission, and it takes a level of love, and it takes a level of trust. And that's what he's talking about here. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Because as we are moldable and shapeable and supple in his hands, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to change a lot because he's going to shape us. He's going to be able to change us in ways that we might not like or appreciate at the time. We might be confused and wondering what is going on and why is it that I have to go this direction instead of the direction that I think is the best for me. On the plane, I like to wear my chosen t-shirts and stuff because it sparks conversation with people. And I met the nicest couple on the flight home from Portland, and he was telling me a story about how he had a business, and because of a computer failure in his business, he lost his business. And he said he got on his knees and he prayed, Father, I don't understand what's going on, and I need you to help me through this, but I trust you and I trust whatever it is that you're doing. And he said the burden was lifted and he had peace. And I said, well, what do you think the Lord was trying to teach you through this whole process? And he says, I don't know what he's trying to teach me through the whole process, but I can tell you this, that at the end of that process, he took me out of that business and we were able to get another business, a better business that we were eventually able to sell and we were eventually able to retire on. And it was a result of that enabled us to be able to go to Moldova for the last 2 years and to minister to the people there in Moldova. And I thought, wow. I said, in the midst of that, did you realize or did you understand what God was doing? He said, no way. No way. It was the most difficult thing I've ever been through in my life. It was heartbreaking. I had employees that eventually got paid, but he said it was terrible. It was awful. And I was so confused. But I'm so glad that God brought me through that. That's a form of discipline, guys. But the level of trust that we have as a result of following daily and being able to submit daily prepares us for those big events in our lives where we really do have to trust him with the big stuff. I pray that we have that supple heart, that we have that trust in our Father so much that we're able to say yes and amen to whatever it is that he's doing in us and how he's shaping us. I pray that we love discipline and that we learn much about our Father in heaven and how much he loves us. And I pray that we would then take that knowledge and take that trust and reflect that to this world that needs him so much. My brothers and sisters, I love you so much. And I so appreciate your prayers and how you helped me come home with those prayers. You strengthened me, and I so appreciate and love you for it. God bless you. May you go out and make a difference in someone's life today. I love you.